Hello. I've got off my sick bed to give you a message. Well, it's been a very strange day, hasn't it? Of course, it's Halloween. It's now about 6 o'clock here because the clocks have gone back and it's got quite dark. So I thought I just had this urge to do a silly video. It won't be very long. Well, you don't watch it for very long anyway. I get a bit frustrated. I do about 10 minutes and I see that you watch about 5. So I'm going to try and do a 5-minute video. I just want to say today, it's very important to learn to laugh at yourself. I had a very strange, peculiar thing happen this morning. I do have a vivid imagination, as you can probably tell, and it's not always positive. I always seem to go down the wrong avenue, and I always get very upset when I realise I've made a mistake, and I do make a lot of them. So, one of my I Ching. I think it's the I Ching. That's right. I like the I Ching. And one of the messages there is to learn to. It's called laughing at the moon, and it is very important to laugh at ourselves. And I'm good at that. And I think a lot of you will agree. I'm quite a comedian at times, but I'm good at laughing at myself. You've got to. You've got to, because otherwise you give up. Laughing, the Lord laughs with you. Crying, you cry alone, sort of thing. So I'm good at having a sense of humour. I've got Venus in Taurus, which is very good for humour. So this is a little event that happened this morning. I just got to pass it on because, I sit here on my own and think, I've got to talk about this. It's so peculiar. I don't sleep at night, as you know, so I tend to go have a bit of breakfast about 7:30 and go back to bed for a couple of hours. I usually sleep very well in the morning. I don't know what that means, but anyway, I do. So this morning I went back to bed and I suddenly heard this loud bang on the wall. It was like a bang. Now this house, this bungalow has been, right, not this bungalow, this has been quite haunted. I did do a video very early on, probably about a year or two ago now, about a haunting, which you may like to watch. It's hilarious what happened to me when a whole, was it a coachload of entities, spirits, descended on me. Anyway, that's another story, so try and watch that one. It's called The Haunting. This is not, well, I thought this was a haunting. It's a great crack on the wall, woke me up. I thought, oh my God, what are they after now? Because they do. I find spirits that bang on the wall, knock on the wall, wake me up, da 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 da. I don't know whether it's good spirits or bad spirits. I think sometimes perhaps they wake me up because I'm having a bad dream. I don't know. But this was annoying because as usual when I'm going to sleep or I'm asleep or waking up. So this crack on the wall, I was so upset and I yelled at it. I said, look. I never know what quite to do with these spirits, whether you will out them or help them. I think I should probably help them more, but I was so angry, I think, go off, piss off sort of thing. And it was quiet for a bit, then it happened again. I thought, oh no, what shall I do? What do you do? I mean, what do you do? I mean, you can talk to them and you send them on into the light, all that sort of stuff. But this was I thought it was very powerful. So I called on Lord Michael to help me because he's good at that sort of thing. He's supposed to protect us and look after these very nasty spirits. And I called on him, no help. Then I went back to sleep and this sound happened again, a little sound. I thought, oh, he's waiting, the spirit's waiting. He's got the message, I want to sleep. He'll want my attention later on. And this went on for about an hour. And eventually, well, I didn't know what to do. I thought, I don't want to get dressed with a spirit watching me. I've had that happen many times. And I thought, I know I've got to sit around now until this thing calms down. So eventually I thought, well, I think it's gone now. I came in here, put on the internet, and there's lots of different healing videos, aren't there, about getting rid of negative spirits and negative energy. Some of them are very powerful, so I put it on full blast, thinking it would go into the bedroom, which is not very far away, and get rid of this spirit. It was like probably about an hour, and I thought, I think it's gone now. I even put, dear Miranji, I don't expect you know, some of you might know Miranji. He's my spiritual master. I leave him up there, and when I get into a state sometimes I chat to him, and sometimes I feel he's there watching me. I don't know, but anyway, he just sent me a little burst of love just now because he knows I'm in a bit of a barren state for a bit of love in my life. Oh, when's it going to come? We don't know. We're not supposed to look at it, therefore, are we? So anyway, I even put his picture on my bed thinking that his energy would get rid of this thing. And on I went. So after about an hour, I think it's safe to go in and look at it. And I was in there. I heard it again. I thought, Oh no. And I was yelling. I was, get off, go away, you know. I was doing all my special affirmations, you know. Dear one, you are blessed, you don't forgive, you know, all the stuff that I know what to do to get rid of these spirits, but it still wouldn't stop, so. Anyway, a thought came to me. Well, of course, it was my guides, I expect, to go and check outside. It's probably the gate. I've got a wooden gate, and it's just outside my bedroom window almost. It's quite close, and the latch is one of these metal latches that you lift up, and it's quite bent. Actually, it's quite difficult to get it to close. Or we had a very high wind. We've had very high winds in Lincolnshire. It's very flat country. It's always windy. I call it a windy city. Anyway, so I went out to put the dustbin out, and below me there was this gate banging backwards and forwards. I thought for 2 hours I've been worrying about this blooming noise, this unknown spirit, and it's the gate. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how I felt? I mean, I burst out laughing at myself. I thought, you silly woman, why did you assume? This is it, you see. Why did you assume it was the negative spirit that come to get your attention? It probably could have been that as well, but I didn't know. I should have checked it. But it's the last thing I thought of was the gate banging backwards and forwards. So, so yeah, I just felt it is important to laugh at ourselves, especially at me, because I go down the wrong path so many times, and I get cross with myself because I'm sure a lot of it isn't negative, it's positive. It's very hard to change direction. I feel as though I'm in this car that's rolling along and suddenly I've taken a wrong turning. You know, on the motorway, you see, well, you see the signs, and perhaps a lorry goes past them and you miss the sign, so you turn off, and you go, oh shit, the wrong one, you know, and you can't turn around and go back onto the main one again. You've got to go all the way around. And this is what I feel like sometimes. I keep taking the wrong turning, and I get so cross with myself, because if I chucked it out more to start with, I wouldn't have got into the mess. But there's a lesson there. So it's just to pass it on this very dark day with lots of peculiar negative things happening, and they are all over the world, we know that. But I think we are challenged within ourselves. I've had a big challenge with this energy. It's a very dark energy. Well, it's supposed to be a CME, a solar flare today, and I was dreading it. It's all over the internet, this big thing coming, and no, and we all got to get prepared. It's going to be a whiteout, a blackout, whatever you call it, an outage. And with my illness, as you know, that it wipes me out. I mean, well, I won't go into that. So I usually prepare myself for a night of biscuits and tea and sitting around and doing nothing, because there's no good sleeping. Anyway, nothing happened. So whether it's going to come soon or not, we don't know. So it's been a very strange day of tricks. Well, that is a trick or treat, isn't it? You have those a lot in the US, I think, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to go off now. I don't think I've got my makeup on properly. I couldn't see properly. I'm half asleep. I went to Sainsbury's this afternoon shopping just to get out. I thought, I've got to get out. And it was quite interesting. I got to the store, I could hardly even walk around it. I was hobbling like a little old lady. Well, I am a little old lady, but you know, I was very depressed because I used to go on to a place called Betwood and look at the trees and have a little walk around. I couldn't do that today, so I was a bit depressed. So then I watched Sister Act, the film, which is a really good comedy film, Whoopi Goldberg, and it's about a bunch of nuns and she teaches them to sing. It was such a funny film. It actually brought my energies up. So that's something else we can do when we get really, really down, to watch a good film, comedy film especially. On that note, I was going to do a video about mind losing. I should do that next time, that's important too, but I just had to do this because it was such a funny occurrence. I thought, just learn to laugh at yourself and check things out, really. Don't assume the worst. Okay, dear ones, I'm going to go now. Take care, God bless.